Star Wars. It was a Friday night, and I had just finished a long week at work. All I wanted to do was relax and unwind. So I decided to go see a movie. I had heard that the latest Star Wars movie was playing at the cinema, and as a huge fan of the franchise, I knew I had to go see it. As I made my way to the cinema, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation building within me. I hadn't seen a Star Wars movie on the big screen since The Force Awakens came out in 2015, so this was a big deal for me. As I walked into the cinema, the first thing I noticed was the huge line of people waiting to buy tickets. I didn't want to wait in line, so I had bought my ticket online beforehand. I made my way past the crowds of people and headed straight for the theater. When I got inside, I was relieved to see that the theater was almost empty. I found a seat near the middle of the theater and settled in for what I hoped would be an amazing cinematic experience. As I waited for the movie to start, I overheard a group of people sitting a few seats down from me discussing the Star Wars movies. "What's the order of Star Wars movies again?" one of them asked. "Well, the original trilogy came out first, so that's episode 4, 5, and 6, another replied. "Then the prequel trilogy came out, which is episode 1, 2, and 3. And now we have the sequels, which are episode 7, 8, and 9. The first Star Wars movie was called Star Wars, but it's now commonly referred to as Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. It was released in 1977, and it was the first movie in the original trilogy." Is Star Wars 1977 the first one? One of the people asked. "Yes, it's the first one that came out, but in terms of the timeline, it's actually the fourth one," another person replied. "Should I watch Star Wars in order?" someone else asked. "That's a tough one. Some people say you should watch them in the order they were released, while others say you should watch them in chronological order. Personally, I think it's best to watch them in the order they were released, so you get the full experience of how the story unfolded," another person said. As the lights dimmed and the trailers started playing, my excitement grew. I couldn't believe I was about to see a new Star Wars movie on the big screen. The movie started with the iconic scrolling text, and I was immediately transported back to a galaxy far, far away. As the movie progressed, I couldn't help but wonder why the Star Wars movies were filmed out of order. Why was the Star Wars filmed out of order? I asked the person sitting next to me. Well, George Lucas had the story for the entire trilogy in his head, but he couldn't get funding for all 3 movies at once. So he decided to start with Episode 4, which he thought was the most exciting part of the story. Once the movie was a success, he was able to get funding for the other two movies, the person explained. As the movie neared its climax, I heard someone in the row behind me whispering excitedly, "I think they're going to mention Order 66. For those who don't know, Order 66 was a command given to the clone troopers in the Star Wars universe to execute all Jedi. When was Order 66 first mentioned in Star Wars? The person next to me asked. It was first mentioned in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when Chancellor Palpatine issued the order to the clone troopers, I replied. As the scene unfolded on the screen, I couldn't help but feel a sense of dread as I watched the clone troopers turn on the Jedi. Who was the first Jedi killed in Order 66? Someone whispered. I think it was Mundi. Another person replied. No, it was actually Blue Coon, I interjected. We all debated for a few moments, trying to remember who the first Jedi to fall was. As the movie came to a close, I couldn't believe how amazing it was. The special effects were incredible. The story was gripping, and the characters were unforgettable. As the credits rolled, I heard someone say, I can't believe how many Jedi died in Order 66. Does anyone know how many it was? I quickly searched on my phone and replied. It was around 10,000 Jedi who died in Order 66. As we all made our way out of the theater, we couldn't stop talking about the movie. What did you think of it? Someone asked. I loved it. It was everything I wanted in a Star Wars movie and more, I replied. I can't wait to see it again, another person said. As we were walking out, someone asked, what was Order 99 in Star Wars? That was a contingency order that was designed to be used in case the Chancellor was ever incapacitated. It would have placed the Jedi in charge of the Republic military and government until a new Chancellor was appointed. We continued talking about Star Wars as we made our way to our cars, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of camaraderie with these strangers. We had all come together to experience this amazing movie, and even though we didn't know each other, we were all connected by our love of Star Wars. As I drove home, I couldn't stop thinking about the movie. It had been an incredible experience, and I knew that I would be thinking about it for days to come. I was already looking forward to the next time I would be able to see it on the big screen. The end. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends and family. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.